A noose swings gently in the darkness. Wooden rafters creak. The rope is thick, tested for weight, tied with precision. It's waiting. April 13th, 1993. An abandoned shed in the Moscow suburbs. Police officers crouch in the shadows outside, barely breathing. They've been here for hours, muscles cramped, fingers numb. But they don't move because they know he's coming back. Footsteps, heavy, deliberate. A shadow emerges from the trees, a massive figure, 6 feet 7 inches tall, 286 pounds of bone and muscle. He walks toward the shed, toward that noose, completely unaware that a dozen guns are aimed at his back. Police, don't move! Officers burst from cover, weapons drawn. The giant freezes. His face drains white. For 5 years he's been the hunter. Now he's cornered prey. They search his pockets. A piece of rope, cut from that exact noose. A Soviet Belka pocket knife, blade dulled from cutting through flesh and bone. A passport. Sergey Vasilyevich Ryakhovsky, 30 years old. Resident of Balashikha. 18 confirmed murders. Victims aged 14 to 78. Grandmothers stabbed dozens of times on forest trails. Gay men lured into the woods, mutilated, their bodies posed in degradation. A 14-year-old boy with mental disabilities beheaded and burned. A war veteran hacked apart with his own axe. A woman with a firecracker detonated inside her body while she was still alive. He disemboweled victims with knives, severed heads with hacksaws, bit corpses with his teeth, sexually assaulted the dead. Even in Russia's most brutal maximum security prisons, hardened killers called him demon and vampire, begging guards to move them away from his cell. This is Sergey Ryakhovsky, the Balashikha Ripper, a man whose brain was destroyed at birth, whose humiliation in Soviet prison forged him into a monster, and who spent 5 years turning Moscow's forests into mass graves. December 29, 1962, Saltykovka, Balashikha district, just outside Moscow. A woman screams in labor. The baby is enormous, far too large for natural delivery. Doctors should perform a cesarean section. They don't. The delivery goes horribly wrong. The infant's brain is crushed during birth, permanent organic damage from the very first breath. The boy weighs nearly 12 pounds. By 6 months, he's 24 pounds, double normal weight. His name, Sergey Ryakhovsky. And from that moment, something inside him is fundamentally broken. Childhood is endless illness, pneumonia, bronchial asthma, hospital after hospital. He doesn't speak until age 3. Severe developmental delay, motor skills clumsy, social skills non-existent. But here's the strange part. His family is loving. No abuse, no neglect. His working-class parents adore him. His mother is overprotective, walks him to school hand in hand even as a teenager. Neighbors whisper, classmates laugh. School is torture. Sergey is massive, tall, fat, lumbering. Other kids mock him relentlessly. He has no friends, struggles through 8 grades, barely graduating. But he's not without feelings. When the family parakeet dies, he weeps for days. When their cat is killed, he's devastated. He stares at aquarium fish for hours, mesmerized. He's gentle with animals, but with people? Explosive rage at the smallest provocation. Vocational school for electricians. Works 1 year, then quits. Drifts through dead-end jobs, taxi mechanic, factory worker, night guard. Nothing sticks. He lives with his parents on their pensions, building homemade radios, reads science fiction. His worldview is shallow, rigid, childish. Until 19, he shows zero interest in women. Finally, he awkwardly attempts courtship. The girl is terrified, his aggression, his intensity, his hulking presence. She rejects him. Something inside Sergey snaps. Spring 1982, Moscow's Golyanovo district. Elderly women returning from markets begin reporting attacks. A massive man emerges from shadows, grabs them, drags them into bushes or stairwells, attempts rape. He's clumsy, frantic, inexperienced, but overwhelmingly strong. Some victims escape, some don't. 10 attacks over several months. Police descriptions match. Over 6 feet tall, heavy build, dead eyes. November 24th, 1982, the 11th attempt. This time, caught red-handed. But Soviet bureaucracy buries the truth. He's not charged with attempted rape. Instead, hooliganism, a vague catch-all to avoid embarrassing court details. Sentence: 4 years in Saratov labor colony. 4 years for 10 violent sexual assaults. He enters prison a scared, awkward young man. What happens next transforms him into something far worse. Saratov labor colony, 1982. Sergey Ryakhovsky steps off the prison transport, 20 years old, terrified. Inmates recognize his case immediately. This one attacked old women, tried to rape them. Pathetic. Day 1, they lower him. Brutal gang rape, a prison ritual establishing hierarchy, marking him as subhuman. He's massive, but doesn't fight back. Too passive, too scared. For 4 years, constant humiliation, sexual abuse, beatings, psychological torture. He occupies the absolute lowest tier of prison society. Below thieves, below murderers, below everyone. November 1986. Release. He's 24. Returns to Balashikha, to his parents' apartment. But he's not the same. The passivity is gone. The fear is gone. In its place, cold, uncontrollable rage. He becomes obsessed with homosexuality, not sexually, but hatefully. He blames gay men for his prison trauma, sees them as subhuman, deserving death. He develops a twisted philosophy. Kill them, they'll reincarnate as normal people. He's doing the world a favor. His later confession: after prison, I had aggression I couldn't control. But it's not just gay men, it's elderly women, his original targets. Soon, anyone vulnerable, anyone alone. Because Sergey learned one crucial lesson in prison: never leave witnesses. Every attack now ends in death. June 19th, 1988. Bitsevsky Park, southern Moscow. Warm summer afternoon. Sergey Ryakhovsky, 25, walks through the park, hunting. A middle-aged man approaches, well-dressed, alone. Introduces himself. Anatoly Volkov, 41, offers money for sex. Sergey agrees. Next day, they meet again. Volkov suggests going deeper into the forest. Privacy. They walk off-trail into thick trees. Volkov turns his back. Sergey pulls out a screwdriver. Strikes. Again. The tool punches through Volkov's back into lungs and spine. He collapses, gasping. Sergey wraps hands around his throat, squeezes until he stops moving. Then the staging. Strips the body naked, positions it obscenely across a birch tree, genitals exposed. A message: this man was gay. This man deserved it. Walks away. Anatoly Volkov, married, adult daughter, hid his sexuality from everyone, now displayed for the world. Police identify him quickly, but have no leads, no witnesses, no evidence. Case goes cold. Sergey Ryakhovsky has tasted blood and wants more. 1 month later, July 4th, 1988, Podolsky District, Moscow region. 70-year-old Klavdia Koklova walks home from the market late afternoon, carrying groceries. Sergey follows her into woods near Dachas, Attacks from behind. No warning. 14 stab wounds from a screwdriver. Koklova screams, scratches his face, pulls his hair. No match. He stabs repeatedly. Chest, abdomen, neck. When she stops moving, he rifles through her bag, steals 45 rubles and her great patriotic war veteran's ID, leaves her bleeding on the forest floor. A neighbor finds her hours later, still alive, barely, rushed to hospital. She gives police a description before dying. Large man, over 6 feet, young, dead eyes. Not enough. Investigation stalls. September 8th, Kunchevo District, Moscow. Another elderly woman, 62, 3 stab wounds, dead. Same pattern. Police don't connect the cases. Then Sergey makes a mistake. January 2nd, 1989. 11th kilometer of Moscow Ring Road. Cold winter day. Snow blankets the ground. 16-year-old Vitaly Zaykov skis through the forest. School holiday, fresh air. He's fast, confident. Overtakes a pedestrian on the trail. Accidentally bumps him with a ski pole. Doesn't stop. Doesn't apologize. Doesn't even look back. That pedestrian is Sergey Ryakhovsky, and he doesn't forget. Sergey chases the boy. Zaykov doesn't realize until too late. Sergey catches up, grabs him, drags him off trail into trees. Zaykov struggles, young, athletic, but Sergey is twice his size. Pulls out a scarf, wraps it around the boy's neck, squeezes. Zaykov's face turns purple, eyes bulge. He stops struggling, stops breathing, but Sergey isn't finished. Strips the body, sexually assaults the corpse, then takes one of Zaykov's ski poles and drives it into the boy's body. Final violation. Takes the skis and dumps them later. Vitaly Zaykov's father finds the body the same day. The sight turns his hair gray overnight. Forensic investigators recover a partial fingerprint from the ski pole. Smudged, incomplete, but enough to indicate large hands, tall stature, heavy build. Profile circulated. No arrests. Sergey Ryakhovsky just killed a child and feels nothing. Murders slow for a year. Sergey lies low, but by July 1990, he's hunting again, and the violence escalates to levels that shock even experienced detectives. July 13th, 1990. Izmailovsky Park, eastern Moscow. 45-year-old Shumakova. Sergey stabs her multiple times. Not enough. Pulls out a knife, cuts open her abdomen, disembowels her while still alive. Then decapitates her. Leaves head and body separated, displayed like trophies. August 1990. Another woman, known alcoholic with criminal record. Body discovered September 24th, decomposed beyond recognition. Cause of death, massive trauma. February 22nd, 1991. Lyubertsy District. 48-year-old Tatiana Notkina out skiing. Sergey attacks her on the trail, stabs her to death, leaves her in the snow. August 13th, 1991. 64-year-old woman, throat slashed. But Sergey doesn't stop. He bites the corpse, repeatedly. Teeth marks on arms, shoulders, neck. Forensic experts horrified. This isn't murder. This is savagery. Moscow police now know they're dealing with a serial killer, but they don't know who, don't know where he'll strike next, and don't know the worst is yet to come. 1992. Sergey discovers a new hunting ground, Izmailovsky Park, massive green space in eastern Moscow, popular with joggers, families. But in certain wooded areas, far from main paths, gay men meet for anonymous encounters. Sergey knows this and uses it. He pretends to be one of them, walks slowly through cruising areas, makes eye contact, waits for approach. When they do, he plays along. agrees to go somewhere private, then kills them. September 7th, 1992. 60-year-old Nikolai Belkin, near Elk Pond, Izmailovo. Belkin approaches, suggests bushes. Sergey agrees. Once alone, pulls out knife. Multiple stab wounds. Belkin dies within minutes. Sergey sexually assaults the body, leaves it there. October 22nd, 38-year-old Oleg Boldin. Same location, same method, but this time Sergey mutilates the body, cuts off Boldin's genitals, strangles him, sexually assaults the corpse. Forensic experts recover semen, Sergey's semen, critical evidence, but without a suspect to match, it's useless. December 16th, 29-year-old Komet Makhmutov, same park, same area, strangled, mutilated, left in bushes. Pattern undeniable. Police increase patrols. But Sergey is careful. He waits, watches, adapts. January 5th, 1993. Forest near Elektrugly, 50 kilometers east of Moscow. 78-year-old Nikifor Orlov, decorated Great Patriotic War veteran, walks through woods carrying an axe for firewood. Cold, quiet. He's alone. Sergey Ryakhovsky appears on a narrow forest path, crouched down, adjusting his boot insole. Orlov sees him, feels threatened, raises the axe defensively. "Stay back." Sergey rushes forward, tears the axe from the old man's hands, strikes him with it, drags the body aside, strangles him to be certain, then sexually assaults the corpse, pulls out a knife and begins cutting, severs the head, hacks off an arm. That night, the murder haunts Sergey's dreams. Next morning, he returns with a hacksaw, cuts off a leg. Why? No clear reason, just compulsion. Body discovered days later. Police horrified. This is a war hero, a man who survived the Nazis and died like this. But the worst is still to come. March 11th, 1993. Razdori Village, Odintsovo District, 55-year-old Olga Shuiko. Sergey drags her into an abandoned shed, knocks her unconscious, strips her naked, pulls out a knife, cuts open her abdomen while she's still alive, then inserts a firecracker into the wound, lights the fuse. The explosion tears through her internal organs. He jams a corkscrew into her face, burns her hair with a lighter, sexually assaults her corpse, steals her purse and watch, leaves her mutilated beyond recognition. When forensic investigators arrive, they can barely process what they're seeing. This isn't murder. This is torture. Cruelty on a level rarely seen even in Russia's brutal criminal history. December 25th, 1992. 57-year-old Raisa Furmanova walks home through woods. Sergey attacks from behind, tries to strangle her, but Furmanova fights back, hard, claws his face, bites his finger, drawing blood. Sergey panics, runs. Furmanova survives. And crucially, she has photographic memory, gives police incredibly detailed description, massive man, over 6.5 feet tall, heavy build, gloomy face, dead eyes. Police artist creates photo fit, strikingly accurate, captures Sergey's hulking frame and cold expression, copies distributed across Moscow region. Officers carry them on trains, buses, in parks, show them to anyone remotely similar. Net is closing. But Sergey can't stop. April 8th, 1993. 14-year-old Rinat Kairulin, boy with mental disabilities, living in orphanage. Sergey approaches him near the train station, strikes up conversation, offers to help with homework. The boy, trusting, follows him into the forest. Sergey strangles him, sexually assaults the body, dismembers it, cuts off the head, carries it 40 meters away, and burns it with the boy's school books. April 9th. Another attack. 64-year-old woman. She fights with pepper spray. Bystanders intervene. Sergey runs. April 12th, 62-year-old Anna Narcissian near train platform in Balashikha. She's walking home when Sergey grabs her. She pulls out a shoemaker's awl, sharp, pointed tool, tries to stab him. He takes it from her, kills her with it. Then, bizarre attempt to mislead investigators, writes on her naked body in lipstick, "Privet is Chechny," greetings from Chechnya, as if Chechen terrorists are responsible. Too late. Police already know who they're looking for. After Olga Shuiko's murder on March 11th, the firecracker victim, police investigators scour the area. They find the abandoned shed where she was killed, and in a neighboring shed just meters away, they discover something chilling, a noose, hanging from rafters, freshly tied, tested for weight, ready. Realization hits immediately. This isn't just a crime scene, it's a trap. Sergey Ryakhovsky is preparing his next kill. He'll return, and when he does, they'll be waiting. Officers set up surveillance, 24 hours, hidden in bushes, in trees, watching the shed. Days pass. Nothing. Then, April 13th, 1993, heavy footsteps. A figure approaches, massive, over 6.5 feet, matches photo fit exactly. It's him. Officers emerge from hiding. "Stop! Police!" Sergey turns, sees guns, freezes. Face goes pale, tries to run, nowhere to go. They tackle him. He's incredibly strong but outnumbered. Pin him down, cuff him, search pockets, piece of rope cut from the noose inside, Soviet Belka pocket knife, keys, passport. Sergey Vasilyevich Ryakhovsky, Balashikha resident, 30 years old. "Why were you here?" an officer asks. Sergey says nothing, stares at the ground. They take him to the station, search his apartment. What they find is even more disturbing. The knife, blood-stained. A diary filled with drawings, little coffins. Red coffins for women, blue coffins for men, each representing a victim. 12 blue, 7 red, 19 total. Next to the diary, handwritten manuscript. Science fiction story titled Starfowl, about a cosmic exterminator who cleanses the universe of inferior beings. Interrogation room. Sergey sits, silent, emotionless, finally confesses to one murder, just one. The elderly woman denies everything else. But police know better. They have the diary, the knife, the photo fit, the fingerprints, the semen samples from Ismailovo. Everything points to him. They take him to crime scenes, one by one. Reconstruction. At the site where 14-year-old Rinat Khairulin was killed, Sergey suddenly breaks down. Not with remorse, with relief. He starts talking, confessing, everything, all 18 murders, the mutilations, the necrophilia, the dismemberments, describes each kill in meticulous detail. Where, when, how, why. "I couldn't stop," he says. "After prison, something broke inside me." Psychiatric evaluation is crucial. If Sergey Ryakhovsky is deemed insane, he goes to psychiatric hospital instead of prison. He knows it. During evaluation, tries to fake symptoms, mumbles incoherently, claims to hear voices, acts erratically. Doctors aren't fooled. Evaluation reveals severe disorders, gerontophilia, sexual attraction to elderly, necrophilia, sexual attraction to corpses, sadism, non-differentiation of sexual object, inability to distinguish appropriate from inappropriate targets, all stem from organic brain damage at birth. But critically, he is legally sane. He understood his actions, knew they were wrong, tried to hide evidence, fit to stand trial. Sergey tries one desperate move, approaches his investigator privately, offers bribe. "I have money. I can buy you a car. Just get me into psychiatric hospital. Investigator refuses, reports the bribe attempt. Added to charges. During investigation, shown crime scene photographs, autopsy photos, bodies, mutilations. Investigators watch his reaction. No remorse, no horror, no guilt. He studies photos with interest, asks if he can keep one. Which one? An officer asks. Points to photo of woman he strangled, eyes bulging from asphyxiation. This one, it's beautiful. July 11th, 1995. Trial begins. Sergey insists on jury trial, hoping ordinary citizens show mercy. Evidence is overwhelming. 18 murders across Podolsk, Balashikha, Ramenskoye, Izmailovo, Kunchevo, Losny Ostrov. 2 attempted murders, mutilation, necrophilia, dismemberment. Prosecution lays it all out in horrific detail. Jury deliberates. Verdict: guilty on all counts. Sentence: death by firing squad. Sergey stands as sentence is read, screams, "I'll be back." But he won't. In 1996, Russia declares moratorium on death penalty. Sentence commuted to life imprisonment. IK-1, maximum security prison colony in Mordovia. Russia's harshest penal institution, houses the country's most dangerous criminals, murderers, terrorists, mafia bosses, men who committed unspeakable acts. Yet even here, Sergey Ryakhovsky stands out. First, they place him in shared cell with 2 other killers. Within days, both request transfer. Tell guards the cell is cursed, that Ryakhovsky is not human, radiates evil. One inmate refuses to sleep in same room. He stares at you, doesn't blink, doesn't move, just stares. Sergey moved to solitary confinement. Suits him. Spends days reading science fiction. Bradbury, Asimov, Sheckley. Writes memoirs detailing his crimes from his perspective. Corresponds with his mother, but she never visits. Not once in over a decade. Other inmates nickname him the vampire, the demon, Satan. Guards avoid talking to him. Even prison psychologist notes in reports that Ryakhovsky shows no capacity for empathy, no remorse, no understanding of why his actions were wrong. Genuinely believes he was performing a service, cleansing society of undesirables. One exception. One cellmate, briefly assigned, finds common ground: astronomy. They discuss stars, galaxies, black holes, drink tea together. Cellmate later describes Ryakhovsky as intelligent but empty, like talking to a machine. Sergey's parents outlive him. Mother dies in 2010, father in 2015. Neither ever speaks publicly about their son. November 12, 2007. Sergey Vasilievich Ryakhovsky dies in his cell at IK-1. Cause of death: pulmonary tuberculosis. He is 44 years old. No funeral, no grave marker. Body cremated. Ashes disposed of without ceremony. In the end, what can we say about Sergey Ryakhovsky? He was not a victim of abuse, didn't grow up in poverty or violence. Parents loved him. He had home, food, stability. Yet he became one of Russia's most prolific serial killers. 18 confirmed murders, possibly more. Victims from children to war veterans. Methods from stabbing to dismemberment to sexual torture. Psychiatric reports point to brain damage at birth, organic injury that stunted emotional development, warped sexuality, removed capacity for empathy. But does that explain what he did? Does it excuse it? Thousands suffer brain injuries and never kill anyone. Thousands endure prison abuse and emerge without becoming monsters. Sergey Ryakhovsky made choices, chose to hunt, chose to kill, chose to mutilate, chose to return to crime scenes and dismember bodies further, chose to keep diary of coffins, red for women, blue for men, chose to write science fiction, glorifying extermination, chose to ask for trophy photograph of strangled woman because her bulging eyes were beautiful. The Balashikha Ripper is dead. Moscow's forests are safe. But questions remain. What creates a man like this? How many more walk among us, waiting for the right moment to strike? If you want to see more deep dives into history's darkest killers, subscribe to the channel. What case should we cover next? Let us know in the comments.